Hi everyone, welcome back to Almost Inevitable Tutorials. My name is still PK and I make WordPress tutorials for website developers and designers. I'm super happy to be here at the Page Builder Summit, and to quickly introduce myself, I've been working with WordPress for over 15 years, since 3.0. I've worked at different types of agencies: design, development, and marketing. And I currently run my own small agencies, and I've worked on and inherited many websites that were unintentionally but ultimately could have been built a little better. So in my free time, I publish regularly on my tutorial website, almostinevitable.com, as a way of helping people who are looking to learn how to make better websites. One of the things that I've noticed when helping people with their website is that there are a lot of cases when it wasn't built with templates or WordPress as a CMS in mind. Not everything has to be built uniquely, okay? So, in this presentation, I'm going to be talking about how you can use more dynamic components to build better websites that are smarter and more efficient, okay? All right, let's get into it. All right, let's start with an easy one. I'm sure you already do this to a certain extent, and that is using post titles in the hero section dynamically filling in the H1. That's a very easy first step into building dynamically. Okay, it's even better when it's done with a featured image as well. So it's really simple. When making a template, just make sure you pick the dynamic option, and that is the icon in your page builder. It is the icon that looks like a stack of coins. We're going to try this with a few of the major page builders, namely Divi, Elementor, Bricks, Oxygen, and Breakdance, and then we'll get into a slightly more advanced build and see how that goes. Okay, let's start with Divi. This is a blank Divi install, and you can see a blank dashboard. For full disclosure, I'm using Divi 5, the developer version, for this because it's a lot snappier. So that's just letting you know I'm not using version 4. Okay, so let's start with going to the theme builder, and we're going to add a new template. This is pretty easy. It's going to be applied to, this template is going to be applied to all the posts. So we're going to make a post template, build custom body, and now add two columns. We're not going to make it look exactly like this. We're not going to worry about that. All we need to get is the front end output to look like that. Then we can style it later. It's not very important. All we need is the output right now. Okay, so let's go with a text module, and in that text module we can add, let me take this out, we don't need that, add post title. Okay, there we go. Now we need this to be an H1, so we'll add an H1 in front. There we go. You can see that it's an H1, and that should be it. Let's add an image. Oops, there we go. And this is also going to be taking its content from that coin stack database. We can also add some text if we wanted to. Post content. Post content here. And there you go. That should be the content. Okay, so now we're going to save this, and that should be it. Let's have a look. Once this is all saved, we can go check. There we go. Save that, and let's go to all posts. And you can see it's working. Okay, there you go. All good. All right, so let's move on to Elementor, and we're going to start with working on a template. So we're going to build a theme. And here it's going to be single post. Pretty easy in this case. We're not going to use any of those. I'm not going to care about that. Nope. Nope. There we go. Okay. Post title. Luckily, Elementor has post title here, so that's good. And we're going to go to the widgets. Let's add a featured image. Now you can see it has these dynamic blocks. All right. Sometimes you might have to assign it from the database. Sometimes, in this case, it already has those blocks. So That's super convenient. Nice. All right, we won't worry about columns. That's a whole thing, so let's not worry about that. We're going to add the post content right here, right underneath that. Yep. Maybe we should just, can't see anything. Yeah, maybe we should just move that. No, I shouldn't move it. But yeah, okay, so it works. There we go. So publish that, and we can have that show on all singulars. Singular is for all posts, okay? If you don't want this for all posts and custom post types, because there's technically still a post, they're all posts, but normally in WordPress, when we say post, regular posts, that would be the blogs. We can have other custom post types, so we can have that as well, but we're going to put it all in just all posts, but we could do that. But all singular is fine for all intents and purposes right now, so that's fine, and we're done. Okay, and let's get out of here. There we go. Yep. What? Yeah, okay. Sorry. And here we are. All right. There we go. All good. Okay. Let's move on to the bricks. Let's get on to bricks. So in bricks, we're going to go to templates, and we're going to, of course, add a new template. All right. So blog post template should be a good name for that. Publish that, and then we're going to start editing with bricks. Okay, let's start with a section. Yeah, just so it's, in a section. All right, post title, we already have that right here, so just add that directly into the container. Come on, there we go. Nope, there we go, cool. And we're gonna add a featured image, and that would be image, there we go. And that image will be selected dynamically from featured image. Okay. Of course, you can change the settings here. Won't worry about that right now. And next, we're going to add the post content. And that would be this guy right here, post content, right? And there you go. Okay. And we're going to apply this to a single post, all the blog posts. And we do that here in template settings, conditions. And that would be post type. Of course, the post type would be posts. So there we go, all done. Cool. Now, oops, sorry. Let's go out and let's have a look at the post. There you go, all good. Cool, so I'll see you in the next one. To Oxygen. So in Oxygen, you go to Oxygen, templates. Let's add a new template. Blog post template. Okay, and don't worry about that. We don't need to worry about any of that. We're just gonna apply it to all post types as well. Not worry much about where things apply, as long as it just shows for our post, blog post. That's the only post type we have, so we don't need to worry about that much. Let's just apply that. If you have custom post types, that's new things for you to worry about, but for now, we won't. If you go to WordPress dynamic data, you'll find title and featured image and content. All good. Now, if we go to check out the, there we go. Check out the posts, view, and there you go. Let's move on to Breakdance. So easy to do Breakdance as well. Go to templates, add a new template. Now, if you're doing just posts, you can just use that single post. Otherwise, if you're using it for custom post types, you can use a custom template. We'll use a single post for this purpose of the tutorial. Edit in Breakdance, and we're going to add stuff like a section, and then add in a heading, which has that little database button there. Add that, and you can pick a post title. There you go. Cool. Add an image. There we go. And also click on that little thingy and make that a featured image. And lastly, we're going to add post content like that. And we're done. Save that. Cool. So now if we go to all posts, we can check out the bomb track. Okay, cool. That's all good. So this is a great way of making better templates because if it makes the build easier. You build the template once and then you can style the template once and it will apply to everywhere where the template is needed or used, right? So it makes it look more consistent and it is easier to edit. So let's try a more advanced, slightly more advanced version of building dynamically. Okay, now this is a very cool application that I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in or would have tried or would be great in one of their future builds. And that is trying to get the page URL into the contact form where the contact form is on pretty much every page, like above the footer, like a CTA section. And then when a customer or a user on the website submits an inquiry, the client or the owner of the website will know where that inquiry came from, which page it came from. It's very valuable info because it really helps people understand which pages convert and where they would ask some certain type of question, something that a lot of clients would say yes to if you had offered it or if you can have a really easy option of doing it. So let's get started. So before we get to Breakdance, I'll cover the other builders briefly. Oxygen doesn't have a contact form, so we won't have to worry about that. Bricks, you can actually use a hidden field to do the same thing. Well, hidden field, of course, because you don't want to show it. And you can add this parameter as a value. Now, if you search Bricks Builder form module, form element, and it will show you this, and you can copy paste from there. It explains a few things there, so that's what you need to do. Okay, this is me from the future while I was editing, and I had to figure this out. I couldn't figure it out, so if anybody knows about this better than I do, because although I have a lifetime subscription, I do not use Bricks regularly, but I'm basing that explanation, the one that I had before, off of this page. This is from Bricks, and it is in their documentation, email dynamic fields. Since Bricks 1.2, you may also use the refer URL tag in the above fields to insert the URL of the page where the form was submitted. And it seems like I sort of was doing it because you can add that. You can add a dynamic field in when it's hidden. If it's not hidden, you can't add the value. Anyways, if I submit this, then this is what I get. It doesn't work, but look at that. It actually has that just there. So if I don't have that, that field at all, it still sends me where the URL is from. Where the submission it came from. So I guess even though the documentation didn't help me find a solution for this, but the field does it naturally, so I guess Bricks just does it. So you don't have to worry about it, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Elementor technically does not have this. All right, Elementor has, all right, we'll put it hidden. Now, you can technically use post title, but that's about it. You don't actually have a URL. You have you don't have the page URL that it is loaded on, as far as I can see. So post title will have to work. Okay, so at least there's something there. Hey, so after this original video aired, somebody in the comments actually said that Elementor has its own way of sending the page URL in the email section. So when it's being sent, they add that as extra metadata. So it's not done through a field like I was explaining with the other forms. But if you go down here to the email, you can see, and I remember this actually, when I had to work with Elementor quite exclusively for a while, I do remember this. So you can add metadata like that, and you can pick one. Page URL, page URL is there, as you can see. So you can add that. You can add other stuff if you want as well. But yeah, so you can add that in Elementor that way. Okay? All right, thanks. Divi doesn't have anything. So if you want to do the same thing in Divi, if you have to use a Divi contact form, I suggest not using it. But if you have to use it, then I'll show you how to do it in JavaScript. Now, this means that it will work on any contact form. Any contact form in the world will be able to do this, but it takes a little bit of work, but at least it just works, right? So let's get into that. Okay, so I'm using Divi 4 in this case because 5, I don't think they finished the contact form module update yet, so we're just going to be using 4. It doesn't really matter because I don't think they're going to be adding anything extra to this for dynamic fields anyways, but here we are. So we're going to add a new field. Now, we can't even hide this field because there is no hidden field. So we're going to have to hide it with CSS, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the way that I'm doing it in Divi right now is pretty much the way that you can do it with every contact form. Okay, so here we are, and we're just going to use a regular text field. So input field is what that is. We're going to give it an ID. All right, so page URL. We're going to do that, and that means that we can. It doesn't matter if it's required or not because it's going to be automatically filled in. And that's pretty much about it, right? So that is in here. Now you can see that in there. We're going to hide that later, but for now we need to add some JavaScript. Okay, so let's add a module. Now this can be a code module or it can be a text module, but in this case, we're going to use a code module like that, and that should do it, right? So you can't see it technically, but it should be here. And we'll add that below the contact form like that. And what this should do is, now if we exit, you can see that this field is not picking up on the ID. It's because we added page URL, but Divi decides to change it to ETPB contact page URL 0. So we're going to take that, all right, and we're going to add that in here now. Like over here, let's go back to that code. All right, and change that to that. Okay, now this should work. The thing is, if the ID, so you can see that now that it works, right? If you see, so the ID, if it is a parent to the input field, right? So for example, if the ID was applied to the paragraph here and not to the input field itself, then you're going to have to go one level deeper. Okay, one level deeper, and I'll show you that. Let me just show you that right now. So in HTML, there we go. Now, if that is the case, it would have been something like this guy, and then you put input there, right? So that means if it were applied to the paragraph, then the input field is inside, and you can target the input field inside there, okay? All right, so that's how you would do that. But here, that works. Now, the only other thing that we need to do is we need to hide that field. Now, if we hide just the input field and not the paragraph field, then the paragraph will take up space. So we're going to move the whole thing, okay? Just the paragraph field. So that would be ETPB contact field 3. I guess that's how we need to do it. I guess what we can do with the main element is hide it like this. And as you can see, it's gone now. All right. I'll give you this code. This is CSS. You can target it directly. Oh, not here. You can target it directly if you can get the wrapping field, the wrapping element to have a unique class. All right. Now, Divi doesn't do that apparently, so we're just going to hide it like that, right? And there we go. Okay. So this is all done. Now, if you submit this, if you save this, not save this, if you save this and and the user submits it, then it will send the page URL along with it. So this method using JavaScript and hiding the field is the easiest, not the easiest, the most manual way of doing it, but it works everywhere because the JavaScript that I'm giving you is vanilla JavaScript, so it doesn't even rely on jQuery or anything. So that will just work. Now, this works on everything. So I'll show you how this works with, what is it? Contact Form 7, right? So here in Contact Form 7, I've added this underneath it, the exact same code underneath it. All I did here was use a text field like that and then gave it an ID of page URL, as you can see here, right? And that will, and you drop in the short code anywhere you want, and this all comes along with the short code, all of this. And that will hide it, and you can see it in action over here. And there you go, right? You can't see it because it's supposed to go after your message, as you can see here, right? You can't see it, but it's there, all right? Maybe I'll show it to you. Right here. So it's got the page URL, right? There you go. So it's there, it's hidden, but the value will be included when it's being sent to you, okay? So that's how you get that done. It works with every contact form. Like I said, some contact form plugins can do this dynamically by itself. A lot of the really good premium ones can do this. So if you're comfortable with a contact form plugin, then you might look it up. They might have it. Otherwise, in page builders, you can do it manually like this, or you can use the other ones, and I've gone over them, so try that out as well. All right, now let's get to Breakdance. Okay, here we are in Breakdance, and I have a header. I just set it up. There's nothing in here, so I'm going to walk you through the header just so we can add a pop-up. Okay, so let's add a header builder, and we're going to add an image. And that image is going to be the logo, and that is huge, so it'll be 5 rem. There we go, that's good enough. And we're going to add a button. Cool. Now this button will say pop-up, and it's not going to be linked to anything. We're just going to add a class. Now that class will be pop-up button. There we go. All good. Now you can use an ID for pop-up buttons because that is the trigger for the contact form. But in this case, this contact form is actually could actually be in a little button next to a section anywhere on the page, and we want that button to trigger the pop-up anywhere. Multiple buttons should work, so we can't use an ID. We need to use a class for that. Okay. All right. That's all good. It's all set up. We won't worry about that now. And let's go out and build the pop-up. So here we are on the pop-up page under Breakdance, and let's add pop-up and call it new pop-up. Pop-up. There we go. All right. Pop-up opens when a click is on a selector, which was pop-up button, as I remember. Yeah. Okay. Oh, everywhere. There we go. Oh, good. We don't need anything but that. We're just going to add a field directly. So contact form. Oops, form. And let's add a field. We won't worry too much about that. We'll just put in page URL. And in the advanced, the value will be post permalink. There you go. And in order to hide that, it's very easy. It's just going here and going down to hidden, and you're done. Okay? Save that. So to check this out, all you need to do is let's just go to the page, and you can see now that we have the pop-up button because we just added the header. Click on that and you get this. Now you can't see it, but it's hidden in there, and it will send you the URL of whichever page this contact form was submitted from. And there you go. That's it. With just a few clicks with dynamic data, you get a much, much, much smarter contact form that will work from every page and will tell you exactly where it's coming from. Okay, so I hope that really helped. I've gone over the 5 page builders, given you alternatives or methods of doing the same thing, really helped you understand how and what you can do to make things dynamic. And I really hope you use the dynamic content options more. If you want to do more, then you might even add ACF and go with that. And that means almost everything can be dynamic from that point on. So there's a lot of things you can do to make things dynamic. So a lot of the stuff stays on the back end and you can actually make really smarter builds. And I really hope that this gives you great ideas in making smarter, more clever, more reliable builds that the clients will be very impressed with and is actually more reliable and harder to break in the future. Hope that helped, and if you have any questions, drop a comment or see me in the Q&A and all that kind of stuff, and I will see you around.